So today I want to talk about what does happiness look like, because I think that is a really dangerous idea. We are raised to believe that happiness has a certain vision of what it is. And it's a really subtle thing. You know, it's not like we're given a pamphlet or a blueprint. It's just that that's the way books and teachings and stories and questions, you probably do it yourself. You know, when you talk to a kid, you know, there's certain things you say like, oh, do you have a boyfriend yet? You know, and you're, joking and having fun. But by saying these things, you are enforcing these ideas of what normal is and what an acceptable life is. You know, we tend to project a happy life as a heterosexual marriage with a few kids, a white picket fence, owning a home, a ladder-based linear job path. And I don't know about you, but I'm finding more and more and more of my friends and myself are not falling into those categories. Partially because the linear path up in jobs just it seems to scatter. And I think this is extremely important now because one of the side effects of an economic downturn or upheaval or shift and change in any way is that when we stray from this image of what we think happiness looks like, it's devastating to us on a psychological and ego level, because we have a sense of we've failed. The biggest sacrifice, the biggest loss is ego. Going from being a homeowner to not within the image of what happiness looks like is devastating. It's like being emasculated. It's like losing your penis. At least I've heard. I mean, I got mine back, so I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. When you put an image of this is what happiness looks like, then you've got everybody trying to get that. And the reality is that's not what happiness looks like for most people. And so what happens? We're socialized to believe a certain set of things are important and a certain type of things are valuable and a certain set of things make us happy. Now, a huge part of socialization is important and it makes sense. You know, things like, we were talking earlier, cannibalism. We're socialized to believe cannibalism is inappropriate and wrong. There's a lot of good reasons for that. So I'm going to say that's a value that, well, not absolute black and white. Certainly, I'm glad I was socialized to believe that. But we also get socialized to believe that heterosexuality is the right path. And so what happens when suddenly inside you feel like that's not right? You're screwed. And I don't mean that in a sexual way, although that could happen too. Now, in some ways, this can be a gift, because at some point, you have to break it. You have to go, I need to choose for myself what finds me happy. And not choose, that's the wrong words on my part. You need to discover, you need to hear, you need to listen and go, oh, this image that I've been handed of what happiness looks like just doesn't resonate with me. But what's a midlife crisis? So many people are going through this, you get what you think makes you happy, and then, that's why people go, okay, well, I guess I need a bigger house. Well, I guess I need to get in a nicer neighborhood. I guess I need a nicer car. I guess I get a bigger TV. And I guess because I got what I thought I needed, and I was stoked as soon as I got it, because it's that accomplishment feeling. And it smells like a new car, and you've been trained to think that's great, and okay, and then something's missing, and then what? But if you're lucky, you crack out of that. And sometimes it takes something devastating, like losing your home, like being kicked out by your family, like realizing, oh my gosh, I'm gay, to go, oh my gosh, everything that I thought was my goal, my carrot, is rotten to me. I'm repulsed by the carrot I've been chasing after. And then it's only then when you start going, I'm not reaching here, I'm listening here, that's when you have the chance to find actual happiness, actual peace. I was once in a relationship where there was a lot of concern by my partner about some of the choices I was making. At the time, I think I was living in a webcam house, and I was showering on camera, and so my life and my genitals were very publicly available. And there was all sorts of artistic and creative and exploratory and reasons why I was doing it, and I felt very good about it and comfortable, and I recognized that it was off the beaten path, but I also believed in it. And this person I was with had a really hard time. And the thing that gave him the hardest time about this was they were like, what about when we're at a PTA meeting, years from now, and and the other parents are like, they had this vision of what they thought our happy life would look like, and I was making choices that was making this happy vision hard to attain. And the other thing that came up was like, certain financial choices, and I was at the time I made almost no money at all. And in fact, the only way I survived was because I lived in the webcam house. And so she was really frustrated, and I was saying, she's like, I cannot live, in a van down by the river. Like, I can't see, that can't be my life. And so you need to start thinking about what choices you're going to make so that isn't where we end up. And I was like, well, you're asking the wrong questions. You're looking at the wrong things. I mean, what if we're happy? What if you and me and our 9 kids, and we live in a van, and we're down by the river, and we're just happy? Wouldn't that be okay? I mean, who cares what the circumstances are like if we're actually, if we're living, if we're in joy and living love? And she was like, no way. I can't be happy like that. And it was this big kind of like realization, like, here this person is so attached to what their vision of happiness is like, that they would choose that vision, that image of happiness, over actually being happy. I mean, I went so far as to actually say that. Are you saying you would rather have the white picket fence and be struggling than be down by the river and be happy? And she said, yes. And I was like, well, then this relationship's over. Socialization is so strong that that's happening constantly in our life. Constantly. And that's the whole vibe, the whole idea of HugNation, is trying to strip away that ego identity, because it's that identity of, husband, lawyer, neighbor, citizen, whatever your identity, Catholic, the identities that form your image of what a correct life is and how you act in those things. And then you start to act and make choices according to that identity. And it's that identity that causes separateness. It's only in that identity that we're separate. Am I making any sense? That would be hard to believe if I was.
You only live once. Enjoy the color.